The topic that we are going to see here is chromosomes. Before taking you into the topic or the structure of the chromosome, I will give you one small example. Whenever we pack our luggage or our dresses to move to some particular place, we usually take long time in arranging these things inside that particular luggage. We will try and put lot of efforts to make these clothes and all the items to fit inside our luggage. And when we are not having it in a proper shape, especially if you are not compressing it too much, it's not going to fit in our luggage. The same applies whenever you are using a thread. Imagine there is a long thread which is like 1 kilometer long. How will you fit it in your small packet? You will just start coiling it. The same is happening inside our body. We already know DNA is a huge sequence or a lengthy sequence which is having billions of base pairs in it, and how these billions of base pairs or this huge stretch of the DNA sequence is fitting inside all of our cells. It's happening by the formation of chromosomes. So what's a chromosome? So chromosome is the package of your DNAs. The DNA is tightly packed into this small structure called as chromosomes. And these chromosomes consist of long chains of DNA and few associated proteins to help them form these particular structures. A strand of around 150 to 200 nucleotide is wrapped twice around a core of 8 histone proteins to form a structure called a nucleosome. Kindly see the below image. So you can see that I am pointing out a single chromosome. So in the single chromosome, here this image is actually a chromosome having 2 chromatics. So what's a chromatic? So a single arm in a particular chromosome, we call it as chromatics. So basically here this chromosome is already having a duplicate copy, that is the replicated form of each chromosome. So here you have 1 plus 1, 2 chromatid arms joined together forming a single chromosome structure. So here in this particular chromosome structure, if you just go too deep and observe how it's made of, so this is how it looks like a long linear chain. And if you zoom too much close and if you just watch how these linear strands are made, you can find small globe kind of structures. Okay, so these small core of 8 molecules are called as histone proteins. So that's why we always say chromosomes are not just DNA, it's also present along with some associated proteins. So these histone proteins are acting like the base on which the thread-like DNA is coiled. So you get a tightly packed structure called as chromosome. So your entire stretch of DNA, already we have seen what's a gene. So gene has your exons, introns, and again exons, likewise it will go on. So the entire stretch of genes, likewise you will have lots of different gene sequence. All these are coiled around your histone proteins and form a nucleosome structures. And similar nucleosome structures, lot of these things will coil together and form a single chromosome. So in this particular chromosome, as I already mentioned, it has 2 chromatics. Okay, so these 2 chromatics will be appeared only if it's like replicated form. If it's not replicated, then you are going to have only 1 chromatic. And these 2 chromatics we commonly refer it as sister chromatics. Yeah, we can also call it as brother chromatics, but basically we always go with feminine words for most of these things in nature. So we call it as sister chromatics. In these chromosomes, we have 2 arms. So one is called as P arm and another one is Q arm. Okay, fine. Here how I could find out which is P arm and which is Q arm. So basically the P arm, the term the P arm came from a French word petite, which means small. So basically the arm which is shorter comparing with another one, we refer it as P arm. So in this particular image, these 2 arms are the P arm because it's shorter comparing to these 2 arms. And the second one, which is the largest one, is called as Q arm. So you could see here this arm is comparatively larger than this one. So this is the Q arm. So this is the basic structure of how a chromosome is arranged. And If you take the example of human beings, like from your school days, you would have heard one thing very clear, that is humans are having 46 chromosomes, and how these 46 chromosomes are arranged. These chromosomes are usually of different shapes, different size and different structures, and how it's attaining these different shapes and structures because of the length of the DNA present in it and what kind of function it's going to do in it. And also the histone proteins, how it's forming the coil, also determines the shape and structure of these chromosomes. And all these 46 chromosomes are present in pairs, which we call it as 23 pairs of chromosomes. You could see the below image. So these are the 23 chromosome pairs that's available in human beings. You could see how different the images or the structure of these chromosomes are from each other. Few are small, few are large. And among these 23 pairs of chromosome, only 22 pairs of chromosomes, which we call it as autosomes, are taking care of all our characters and traits, which also undergo the mitosis process. And there is one special chromosome which is called as sex chromosomes, that is X chromosome and Y chromosome in the case of males, as well as X and X in the case of females. This particular pair of chromosome determines the sex of the particular individual, whether the person is going to become a male or the person is going to become the female. And this chromosome transfer from the parents determine what progeny they are going to get, whether the baby is going to be a boy or the baby is going to be a girl. And basically from the father always you are going to get from the mother always you are going to get only the X chromosome, because mother females contains X and X. So the male, that is the father, is going to be the determining person what chromosome they father transfer, based on which the baby is going to be either a male or a female. So chromosome is basically the package of your genes, and all these genes comprised in a small compact structure called as chromosomes, and each chromosome has different functions in your body.